Hi boys and girls. We're going to do some more Bible class videos, but we're going to do some outside this time instead of in our Bible class room. So I thought that might be fun. We're going to be talking about Moses, and we're going to start off with baby Moses. You can see I've got baby Moses here with me. And this is baby Moses' big sister, Miriam. She's in the story too. She was a helper in the story. So let me get started with the story, and then we're going to talk about a few things afterwards. So, in the beginning, uh, baby Moses was, of course, an adorable little baby, and his mother loved him very much, and his family loved him very much. And you want to hold the baby, Miriam? You want to hold the baby? The family loved baby Moses. So, they lived in Egypt, and there was a Pharaoh, the ruler of the land. And Pharaoh was not a good man, and he did not believe in God. He did not love God. In fact, he didn't like any of the Hebrew people either, and he wanted to get rid of all the baby boys. He wanted to just go and take all the baby boys away from their mamas and get rid of them, which is not a good thing because we love babies. God loves babies. So, Miriam helped Mom. I'm going to pretend I'm Moses' mother. And she made a basket for him. Can you put your baby brother Moses in the basket? And you're thinking, why are we putting this baby in the basket like this? They lived next to a big river. And it was next to the palace where the Pharaoh lived. And so they made this basket that can float in water. It didn't sink. And they put him in the basket all nice and safe and covered him up. And then they took the basket down to the river and put the basket in the river. Now they didn't just leave that baby in the river. They were watching over him. Mommy sent his sister Miriam, and she was kind of hiding in the bushes, and she was watching baby Moses as he was floating down the river. Are you watching, Miriam? To make sure he's okay. So pretend there's a river here, and he's floating down the river, and Miriam is back here watching over him. That's right. Well, when he floated in front of the palace where the Pharaoh lived, the Pharaoh's sister came out, and she was taking a bath. They bathed in the river then. They didn't have big bathrooms like we did. And so she was kind of taking a bath, and she and her helpers were at the river. And she looked out and she saw this basket floating down, and she said, "What is that? Go see what that is." So one of her lady assistants, you want to be the lady assistant? Go down and see what's in the basket and tell her what's in the basket. What do you see in the basket floating on the river? A baby. They couldn't believe it. There was a baby in the basket. So they went and they brought the baby up to the princess, and she took him, and he was crying because he was not happy being in that basket away from his family. And she loved him immediately. And about that time, Miriam shows up because she'd been watching this baby because she loved baby Moses. And she said, "Do you want me to go get someone to help you take care of the baby?" And the princess said, "That's a good idea. Why don't you do that?" So, guess where she ran? Where did you go? Do you remember? You went and found your mother, didn't you? Yeah, I brought mother back. So here I am back with baby Moses again, and I get to take care of the baby, and he's safe because the Pharaoh's sister loved him so much. In fact, he grew up in the palace and lived in the palace, and he was safe. And later on, he did some amazing things for God, and we're going to talk about that in another Bible story. So this was actually a very good story. There's so many things we can learn from that. Miriam was his sister. She loved him, and she took care of him, and she helped her mother. And then God took care of baby Moses on the river. He was in a basket on the river, took care of him. He didn't drown. And the princess found him and raised him in the palace. So he was safe and taken care of. God was watching over baby Moses. And just like that, God watches over you too. Watches over Ruby and Lois or Miriam and everybody in my class and all the children of the world. God is in control and he's watching over you and taking care of you. That's the main thing we can learn about this from this story, right? God loves us very much and he loves you very much. So I'm going to show you some plants though that I have growing in my flower beds, and we're going to talk about them for just a minute, and then we're going to sing a song to end this lesson. So hang on, let me get over there by the plants.
That's a zebra
Okay,
plant.
it's a zebra plant. That's right. Did you hear Lois? She said that's a zebra plant. I have some real unusual plants in my flower beds. I like unusual plants. God made so many beautiful plants and flowers, and this is one of my favorites because it just keeps growing and growing. But God made, we don't know if this plant was down by the river where baby Moses is. It could have been. It likes dry weather, and Egypt is dry and it likes water, so it might have been there. Even if it wasn't, there were plants like this growing all along the river. And so Miriam was able to get behind them and watch baby Moses floating down the river in the basket. Now I want to tell you a little bit about plants, just a little bit here. God made plants with special needs. All plants need something. Do you know what it is?
Water.
Water. What else?
Air.
Air. What about
The sun.
the sun? And one other thing.
God.
We would call it food, but it's nutrients. Are we going to have to redo this whole thing? Okay.
It's fine.
Sorry about that. My phone. Anyway, we'll go on. Okay. So, plants in different places have different needs, and God made them very special. If you went out into the desert where it's mostly sand and hot sun and not very much shade, not very much rain, you'll find something called a cactus. I don't know if y'all ever seen a cactus or not. It's got big pointy things that you don't want to touch because they poke in your fingers and hurt. But cactus can grow in the desert. They don't need very much rain because God made them special to where they can take the water up inside of them and hold on to it. And so when it doesn't rain for a long time, they're okay because they've got water inside of them. Now, if you go someplace where it's very, very cold all year round and there's ice and snow, like in the Arctic, you'll find plants that are really, really, really small and hugging the ground, and they're all together. That's to keep themselves warm from the very cold temperatures. So if you go to a place like Egypt, along the River Nile, where this story happened, you'll find big plants like this growing all along the rivers. And they're reeds, and they like water, they like sunshine, and they just grow and grow and grow. So, what can we learn from this? God made plants very special. Girls, come here, we're going to sing a song in just a minute. But you know what? He made you very special too. And God loves you more than he loves the plants. He made the plants for us to use for food and shade, but he made you to live with him forever and ever in heaven one day. He loves you more than the plants, more than the birds. You are very special. And God has a plan for you. Just like God had a plan for baby Moses. He protected that baby, and he had a plan for him to do something very special.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
Yeah,
To end this lesson about baby Moses, we're going to sing our song with the owl.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, you ready?
Let me get
Can
my
y'all help me
favorite
sing?
thing. Yeah.
Sing loud? Okay. Who
Who
loves you more than night and day? The answer is me, and I hope you can see. I love you to the moon. Bye.